Freddy Krueger, the nightmare who never sleeps. The lights in the room flickered. The hum of a television playing in the background was the only sound that broke the silence. A young woman sat on the edge of her bed, her eyes sunken with exhaustion, her body trembling as if she were holding herself together by sheer will. She hadn't slept in almost 3 days. The thought of closing her eyes, even for a moment, terrified her more than the darkness of her empty room. Every time her eyelids grew heavy, she jolted awake, clutching a coffee cup or slapping cold water on her face. She knew what awaited her in the world of dreams. She knew who awaited her. Freddy Krueger. The name itself was enough to send shivers down the spine of anyone who had ever lived in the shadow of Elm Street. He wasn't just a man, he was fear incarnate. With his burned, disfigured face, the tattered red and green sweater, and that infamous glove of knives, Freddy had become the stuff of legend. But this wasn't some campfire tale, nor was it an urban myth. Freddy Krueger was real as the scars he left on your psyche, as real as the screams that echoed through the night. What made Freddy so terrifying wasn't just his appearance or his weapon of choice. It wasn't even the gruesome, creative ways he killed his victims. It was the rules he broke. Freddy didn't stalk you like a typical slasher villain, waiting for you to make a mistake. He didn't lurk in the shadows of your home or hide behind a corner, waiting to strike. Freddy Krueger was different. He didn't just invade your life. He invaded your dreams. And that was what made him truly horrifying. Because how do you fight something that only exists when you sleep? How do you stop a killer who hides in the one place you're supposed to feel safe? The terror of sleep. Sleep is universal. It's a biological necessity, a function of survival. No matter how fast you run, how clever you are, or how strong your willpower may be, eventually, your body will demand rest. It's inevitable. And that inevitability is where Freddy Krueger thrives. When you close your eyes and drift off into the world of dreams, you enter a realm of vulnerability. Your subconscious mind becomes an open book, a playground for the unimaginable. Within this space, Freddy reigns supreme. He can twist the landscape into a carnival of horrors, bending reality to his will. He knows your fears, your secrets, the things that make your heart race with dread. And he uses them against you. For Freddy, killing isn't just an act of violence, it's a performance. He doesn't simply stab you or bludgeon you to death. No, Freddy's kills are as creative as they are horrifying. He turns your worst nightmares into reality. Are you afraid of clowns? He'll transform into a grotesque, laughing jester, his glove of knives tearing through balloons that explode into blood. Are you terrified of drowning? He'll drag you into a dream where the walls close in, water rushing in until you're gasping for air. Freddy doesn't just kill you, he makes you suffer. He makes you feel every moment of terror, every ounce of pain, until your heart gives out, or his blades find their mark. But perhaps the scariest thing about Freddy is his twisted sense of humor. Unlike other horror icons, Freddy doesn't kill in silence. He taunts you, mocks you, turns your fear into a joke that only he finds funny. His one-liners are as sharp as the blades on his glove, cutting through any sense of hope you might have. To Freddy, it's all a game he always wins. The Nightmare Realm. Freddy's power lies in the dream world, a place where the rules of reality no longer apply. In this realm, he's omnipotent, able to shape and manipulate the environment to suit his sadistic whims. He can turn a sunny meadow into a graveyard, a peaceful home into a house of horrors. The dream world is his domain, and within it, you are utterly powerless. Imagine this. You're standing in your childhood bedroom. Everything seems normal at first. The posters on the walls, the toys scattered across the floor. It's all exactly as you remember it. But then, the shadows start to move. The walls begin to close in, the air growing thick and heavy. You hear a low, guttural laugh, and suddenly, he's there. Freddy. His burned face illuminated by the flickering light of a lamp, his glove of knives scraping against the wall. You try to run, but the door won't open. You try to scream, but no sound comes out. Freddy steps closer, his voice dripping with malice. "What's the matter?" he sneers. Scared of a little nap? And then, before you can even process what's happening, the floor beneath you gives way, and you're falling into darkness, into pain, into death. That's the power of Freddy Krueger. He turns your mind against you. He takes the things you love, the things you cherish, and warps them into tools of torment. In the dream world, there are no rules, no logic, and no escape. Freddy is the master of this domain, and you are his unwilling guest. The fear that lingers. What makes Freddy Krueger truly terrifying is that his fear doesn't end when you wake up. Even if you manage to survive the night, even if you manage to escape his clutches, the fear of falling asleep remains. Every time you close your eyes, you wonder if he'll be there waiting for you. Freddy isn't just a killer. He's a psychological parasite, feeding on your fear and your exhaustion. The longer you go without sleep, the weaker you become. Your mind starts to play tricks on you. You see things that aren't there, hear things that don't exist. And in that state of delirium, Freddy becomes even more powerful. He doesn't just kill you physically, he breaks you mentally. And the worst part? Freddy Krueger is eternal. He's not bound by the laws of nature or time. As long as people fear him, as long as the memory of his name lingers, he will always exist. He's a manifestation of our deepest fears, a symbol of the things we can't control. Freddy Krueger isn't just a character in a horror movie. He's a representation of the nightmare that lives inside all of us. Why Freddy Krueger endures. There's a reason Freddy Krueger has become one of the most iconic villains in horror history. He's not just a slasher villain, he's a force of nature. Unlike other killers, who can be outrun, outsmarted, or overpowered, Freddy is unavoidable. You can't run from your dreams, you can't hide from sleep, and you can't fight the subconscious. Freddy's ability to invade the most private, intimate aspect of our lives, our dreams, makes him a uniquely terrifying figure. He turns the act of sleeping, something we rely on for survival, into a deadly gamble. His personality, his creativity, and his sheer malice make him unforgettable. He's not just scary because of what he does. He's scary because of what he represents. Freddy Krueger is the monster under the bed, the shadow in the corner of your eye, the voice in your head that whispers your deepest fears. He's the embodiment of the nightmares we all try to escape, and that's what makes him truly terrifying. So tonight, when you lay your head down to rest, take a moment to think about Freddy, because in the world of dreams, he's always watching, always waiting. And if you're not careful, he might just pay you a visit. Sweet dreams.